So good evening, everyone. We will begin the financial literacy session at 5.01. But right now, for those who come in early, I don't want you to waste your time. So we are showing some of the videos that we had made for a previous festival that was a education through monuments. So must have seen them, may not have seen them. Just hear them out. We're waiting for others to join in. But rest assured, we begin at 5. Thank you. Sound better? School of Stensis and Legos. Which kind आगे क्या नहीं है इसको हमें बॉडी sharing में I just but by the time I'll start there. ठीक है आप एक मैरिज का स्पीच करना बिल्कुल मैं पूजा करूँगा थैंक यू बच्चा मिनट because we could 3 minute one perfect perfect We can start. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? How will I come to know that? So excellent. I presume I'm audible. And for everyone who are present here, good welcome. And be rest assured that this presentation will be put up into the principals group as soon as the session gets over. Say, give us around half an hour to wind up things after the session gets over. And a recorded version also will be shared. So, keeping that in mind, we begin this session today on financial literacy. I have in my office also a link opened up, so I'll keep on checking whether the audio is there or not. So, can I have a thumbs up for the audio? Great. So, teachers, when we began this topic, it's been 3 to 4 years that we've been working on this topic. And normally, when we go offline, we do ask in the group, how many of you all have gone through scams? And very few ladies put up their hands, but of course, in teaching community, we've got more ladies and gents. A few of the gents also put up their hands. And then we crack a joke. Okay, ladies, are you sure that your husbands have not gone through some scams? Because घर की शांति रखने के लिए वो शायद बताएंगे नहीं कि घर पे कुछ नुकसान हुआ है. So now financial literacy is so important and it cannot be imbibed like general knowledge and current affairs overnight. It has to be a cult which has to be set in from the very beginning. And if you ever know if India has survived any economic crisis, it is only because of people aware about not to live on EMIs, not to live on so many things which the other countries are living. So we come forward and introduce you to the session of financial literacy. So little backward going to understand what are we doing, why are we doing, and since when are we doing. So we began some years back in the City Palace, Jaipur, a festival called Jaipur History Festival. And in the first year, we only focused upon grade 11th and 12th project work because that was the beginning. We were also testing waters. And we managed to conduct that festival that year. We went school to school in Jaipur, explained things to them, handheld them, and we came out with this festival. All cultural programs and exhibitions for history, course 11th and 12th. The next day, we took a challenge and we picked up 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. And I think that was the best year for us to happen, the coming of the years, because Anita Karwal ma'am, the then CBSE chairperson, really literally adopted us. And I think with around 33 schools, we went all the way from Jaipur to Delhi to her office and presented our work there. The next year, we picked up Rivers and Gandhi, geography from grade 3 to 12, around 720 models made. And this was the time that we were still in Jaipur. But yes, a school from Gurgaon, DPS 45, courtesy Aditi ma'am, had started visiting this festival then. And then came an end for the COVID. But during the just before the COVID, we did launch one graphic novel called The French Revolution, put up at St. Edmund's School in Jaipur. And that gave us time for 2 years during the COVID. We didn't have a festival, but we developed around 200 graphic novels on academic subjects. So most of you all are into that project. So you all know what we did. Then we came to one project called the next step was Fad Se Pad. And Fad Se Pad was making Rajasthan folk art, using it as an academic platform. And we had around 35 fads made across the country. And that was a year we stepped along the rooftop outside Jaipur also. So we had one festival in Jaipur, one festival in Delhi, and of course, joined to this Jaipur Literature Festival gave us an opening because for 5 days we were able to display at least 10 fads present there. Last year, we did education through monuments. I know the audio was not very clear what we shared with you, but we managed to do something there. So we had Varanasi School in the month of October coming up with 22 monuments, Sunbeam, hosted by Sunbeam. Then we had Jaipur History Festival with 60 monuments, 350 children coming from outside, and 9 presentations in Jaipur Literature Festival. Then we had Mumbai Festival with RN Podar with 18 monuments. Delhi, KR Mangala was a host with 24 monuments. Gurugram, DPS 45 was a host with 40 monuments. And the project still continues. It will be happening in Pune, Jammu, Bangalore. NCRT has asked us not to stop till 500. So we are still going along with that track, not holding back. But this year, our official project is on financial literacy. So when we talk about savings, we talk about savings not only in money. Money comes in much later, but first comes in water. We have to save water, we have to save electricity, we have to save food, we have to save time, we have to save any of the resources available. So when we talk about saving water, which grade do we begin from? Definitely we can begin from grade nursery. We can begin from grade one, the pre-primary classes. So normally when we talk about financial through literacy principles, immediately tell me, okay, Sandeep, you're putting our commerce teachers on with you. But commerce teachers come up in grade 9, 10th, 11th, 12th. But what about the children in grade nursery, KG, prep 1, 2, 3? Because the concept of saving has to come up first. So water, electricity, food, time, resources, and then comes the word money. So this is why it's important in the lower grades also. So now what we are coming forward with you is, again, all the projects that you're going to see on the screen right now, the plots, the syllabus which we're putting up, the topics that we're putting up. You will decide your syllabus for your grade. What topic you want to take for which class, you will decide whether you want to do it or you don't want to do it. But we'll just be hand-holding you for all the schools who want to do it. So the content can be in form of poems, irrespective of the language, it's English, Hindi, or a state language. That does not make a difference to us. You decide the topic as per your understanding for which class it is good, which grade it's good, and how much you want to do. You decide that also. So now I'm going to show you something which is there, which we have proposed, for which Vedic classes. So let's think of mathematics also. Why do we have to think of mathematics only for grade 9, 10th, 11th, 12th? Fractions come up much earlier, maybe in third and fourth. Fractions, ratios, percentage, discounts, they come up much, much earlier. And the beauty of that is a simple question. My mother earns a salary of 50,000. She saves one fourth of that. That's a fraction question. She saves two-fifths of her salary. That's a ratio question. She saves 20% of her salary. That's a percentage question. When we talk about discounts, trying to understand what is expensive, what is cheaper, all these concepts come there. And most interesting comes up as a simple interest and compound interest. I'll give you an anecdote in that. So normally CBSE introduces or NCRT introduces simple interest maybe in 6 or 7 and compound interest in 8 standard. So 6 or 7 standard child is minimum 11, 12, 13-year old. So I came across one friend of mine whom I was meeting with the literature festival days, a Gujarati girl, and she tells me at 7 years of age how she understood simple interest and compound interest. So this is very typical every Indian home. कोई भी रिश्तेदार आके कुछ पैसे देके जाता है तो पैसे कहाँ जाते हैं? घर वाले ले लेते हैं, पिगी बैंक में जाते हैं, घूमते फिरते बैंक में पहुंच जाएंगे। पर इस लड़की के घर से वो पिगी बैंक में नहीं जाते थे, उसकी दादी लेती थी। और दादी के पास में 8 पोते पोतियां थी उस घर में। तो एक रजिस्टर था उनके पास में जिसके ऊपर बच्चे का नाम लिखा होता था और किस तारीख पे उसने कितने पैसे दादी को पकड़ाए। और दादी कहती थी जब तुमको जरूरत हो तुम आके मेरे से ले लेना। अब 1-2 महीने के बाद बच्चा अगर जाता कहने को कि दादी मुझे कुछ खरीदना है, ये पैसे चाहिए, तो शी वुड टेल हिम फर्स्ट कि बेटा तुम्हारा ये 2 महीने का 5% ब्याज के हिसाब से 500 रुपए पे 25 रुपए जमा है और 2 महीने के 50 रुपए हो गए। तो तुम चाहो तो ये 50 रुपए ब्याज से तुम पैसा विड्रॉ कर सकते हो। Initially, she allowed the children to withdraw the interest. The next time the child came, she would tell them, now I've added that interest into your principal amount and you're going to get interest on interest also. So that was a compound interest which the child was being taught when he was aged 7 years of age. तो दे अंडरस्टूड कि अगर हम पैसा जोड़ेंगे तो बचाएंगे तो उस पर कमा भी लेंगे. Of course, the rate of interest was very high given by Dadi, 5% per annum. But of course, that was an incentive and motivation for the child to develop the habit of saving at a very, very, very early age. So that is what we can introduce in mathematics as. Interestingly, also what you can see is if you picked up the latest NCRT books, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, they have mathematics, and of course they were having it early also, but they've come up with the chapter money in that. So money is coming up in grade 1, grade 2. So why should we think of financial literacy only in the later years? So the concept has to come up much, much earlier. So what I'm showing you here are the very typical slides which are being picked up from NCRT straight away, and it's happening there. So you can look at this Rahim Kaka, the toy seller. There's a billing to be done, what you can buy for 10, what you can buy for 20. So that thought is coming up much, much earlier. This is about a fair where the mother gives her 50 rupees and how she has to spend, what she will save, how much you spent, how much you saved, how much is left. So all these concepts are very, very important to introduce financial literacy. So these are the latest NCRT books which are coming up there. Similar, this slide is for that also. Same coming up here about the tickets, ride, all related to money. That is financial literacy. Now here, this is what I'm bringing forth for you. So this is a proposed thing for grade 1 to 5. One category we've taken up is money and savings. You don't need to worry about it. The presentation is coming to you, to the school principal, and I'm going to give you my number at the end of this program so that if you don't get it, you can ask me directly. So this is now where you decide in grade 1 to 5, what do you want to do in money and savings? You want to only talk about growing of money, the joy of giving and sharing, why do we need money, history of money, earning money, how money is used. ये आपके ऊपर है, कोऑर्डिनेटर के ऊपर, वो क्या टॉपिक किस क्लास के अंदर टच करना चाहते हैं. तो यहाँ पे 3 कैटेगरीज है. मनी एंड सेविंग्स है, बजट है. You want to talk about going for a picnic, you want to talk about saving for a particular thing, learning to budget things. ये बहुत छोटी छोटी चीजें हैं, but they're very very relevant and they'll come up very smoothly, and I'll tell you how. In fact, even banking investments also can come up beautifully in grade 1 to 5. So don't worry, this entire thing is coming to you in a presentation form. Now, when we think that बच्चों को क्यों इतनी जल्दी हम कर रहे हैं, कितना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड कॉन्सेप्ट है मनी का, but you realize that this next slide is coming up with what we did a few years back with NISM, with CBSE. यहाँ वर्कबुक्स बनी थी और ये पूरा जो है, जो आप देख रहे हो इस समय, was a 6 standard syllabus wherein we had 10 periods in a year. So far we can start counting them as backless days, and this is what was being done in those 10 periods. All these workbooks, that is of grade 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, will be also sent to your principal in a soft copy the moment they say that yes, we want to be a part of this project. तो ये 6 स्टैंडर्ड में आया था. और अभी सबसे पहले आप टॉपिक देखो बार्टर सिस्टम का. तो बार्टर सिस्टम एनसीईआरटी में 6 से 7 को टच कर रहा है, बट दैट इज ओनली हिस्ट्री ऑफ बार्टर. बार्टर तुम्हारा फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड वाला बच्चा करता है, जब अपने टिफिन से वो बार्टर करते हैं एक दूसरे के टिफिन में, जब अपनी स्टेशनरी का वो बार्टर करता है. तो व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज इट कम्स अप एट वेरी इनिशियल लेवल. You just have to treat a little bit, and there it is there in nursery. There it is in one of the poems that you're using. किसी भी कहानी उसको बहुत आसान से फिट किया जा सकता है. So here you have the workbook for grade 7th, which again, as your principal says, yes, all these workbooks, soft copies will come to you. You can take a printout and keep them in the library. 8-9 साल पहले ये किताबें खूब बटी थी. Maybe some of the schools have them in the library right now also. Grade 8th, grade 9th, and grade 10th. Of course, the content is a little more here, so we've got it in 2-3 categories here. Now, another concern here, you decide what you want to take. आपको नहीं डिस्कस करना है इकोनॉमिक डिप्रेशन, मत करिए. आपको डिस्कस करना है आईपीओ, वो डिस्कस कर लीजिए. इंश्योरेंस का बेनिफिट करना है, वो कर लीजिए. द रूल ऑफ स्टॉक्स एक्सचेंज एंड इकोनॉमी, यू डिसाइड विच ग्रेड यू वांट टू. सो यू डोंट हैव टू फॉलो नॉर्म्स के इन्होंने 10th का बोला है तो हम 10th में ही करना चाहते हैं. ऐसा कोई रूल नहीं है. आप कोई भी क्लास में कुछ भी कर सकते हो. इट इज ऑल योर डिसीजन टू डू और नॉट टू डू. ये पूरा आपका खेल है. बिकॉज सो मेनी स्कूल्स आई हैव सीन चिल्ड्रन हैव एंटर्ड इनटू डीमैट अकाउंट्स, डीलिंग इन शेयर्स. अब ये हर आदमी का अलग अलग लेवल है, कितना एक्सपोजर उसका क्या है. द एक्सपोजर कैन बी गिवन बाय स्कूल्स टू देम. नाउ कम्स द मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट. How do we introduce them in grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? So now I'm taking up. We have a guest sitting out there with us, Uma Joshi ma'am from Jaipur. Right now she is in States. She will be taking sessions. We'll be helping her to take sessions on Panchtantra tales and how we can incorporate them in financial literacy. So there's a story about the Gadavadhan. There's a story about so many more things. So यहाँ पे मुझे अच्छा क्या लग रहा है, a lot of language teachers can pick up these books and just find out कहाँ पे हल्का सा स्टोरी को ट्वीट करने पे फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी आ जाएगा. पंचतंत्र is a very very strong thing which you can play with, and these are books already in the library. कुछ आपको एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी करने की जरूरत नहीं है इसके अंदर, बट हाँ अपना थोड़ा सा दिमाग लगाओ, सोचो how this can be incorporated. You can have a lot of fun with the grade 11 standard children by asking them to do this particular task. Jataka tales, right? इसके अंदर खूब आपको किससे मिल सकते हैं जिसको आप रिलेट कर सकते हो फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी के लिए. देन तेनालीराम, वहां से भी आप ले सकते हो. देन अकबर एंड बीरबल, you can pick up things from there. Try to relate it. It will make it interesting for you to make it up, as well as interesting for the children to read. In Aesop tales, I can tell you one thing. I'm not too sure it is category ka hai. You have the story about the ant and the grasshopper. So we all know that the ant was saving food for winters and the grasshopper had a lot of fun, didn't bother to save. तो crisis तो हुआ. जब सर्दी आ गई तो grasshopper was dying. तो कुछ कहानियों में लिखा है the grasshopper died, कुछ कहानी में लिखा हुआ है कि the grasshopper took help from the ant and survived. पर इसी कहानी को अगर हम फूड से कन्वर्ट करके उसको कन्वर्ट कर ले मनी पे, तो द एंट हैड अ हैबिट ऑफ अर्निंग, spending, and saving. And the grasshopper had a habit of earning and spending. But in dire times, हम जो कहते हैं ना रेनी डेज के लिए, ग्रासहॉपर ने नहीं बचाया. तो अगर आप नहीं बचाओगे तो आप कैसे सर्वाइव करोगे? तो यू हैव टू कीप दैट इन माइंड वेरी स्ट्रांगली, right? So this is what the whole game is about, and these are the books that you can actually convert them into tales that way. So we don't even stop here. We come to the level of Shakespeare. Shakespeare, you talk about Merchant of Venice, and Merchant of Venice has got Shylock, and there's a whole concept of interest coming up there. So this is again giving a lot of food for thought for teachers teaching a little higher classes. अब कहाँ पे क्या कॉन्सेप्ट लेके आप उसको आगे लेके चल सकते हो, trying to convert it and relate it to financial literacy. Bernard Shaw. We all remember the teachers who've done it. I'm sure none of the schools are doing it right now, but the language teachers, Pygmalion, Bernard Shaw, Eliza Doolittle, father, Mr. Doolittle, Mr. Little talking about money, converted into the Indian story that is Manpasand film, where you've got Tina Muneem, Devanand, Girish Karnad, and Mahmood, who talks about what 11th economics talks about, the cash flow. वो कहते हैं कि अगर आप पैसे को अगर घर में दबा के रखोगे तो इकोनॉमी ग्रो नहीं करती है. दैट इज अ ड्रंकर्ड महमूद टॉकिंग अबाउट इन वन ऑफ द फिल्म्स. बट सी हाउ यू कैन रिलेट इट एंड पिक अप थिंग्स फ्रॉम देयर. Even here we talk about a concept known as need, want and desire. हम जब पूछते हैं नीड वांट एंड डिजायर किस क्लास में आता है, टीचर्स कहते हैं इट कम्स इन ग्रेड 9th and in grade 11th. But need, want and desire, the child of grade 1 also understands. So like I normally talk about myself, I'm thirsty, I want to drink water, but my desire is to have a diet coke. But if I can quench my thirst in water, I will save 40 rupees. तो जब बच्चे शॉपिंग के लिए जाते हैं पेरेंट्स के साथ में, हमको ये समझाते हैं ना, इसके बगैर इससे गुजारा करो. दैट इज ऑल्सो फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी. आई रिमेम्बर माई मदर डेली नेसेसिटीज तो खरीद लेती थी, बट बाइंग इधर साड़ी और ज्वेलरी शी वुड स्टे, select it and leave it in the shop for 2 days, sleep over it, and then decide whether she actually wanted it or not. तो नीड वांट एंड डिजायर कॉन्सेप्ट बहुत जरूरी है हमको फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी लाने के लिए. नो द फैसिनेशन फॉर ब्रांड्स. व्हाट डू आई एक्चुअली वांट? डू आई वांट अ ब्रांडेड कार और जस्ट अ कार? तो ये कॉन्सेप्ट बच्चों को अगर शुरू में समझ में आएगा तो ब्रांड्स के पीछे इतनी जल्दी वो नहीं भागेंगे. लेट्स बर्नर्ड शॉ फॉर यू एंड लुक एट प्रेमचंद. We were so fascinated while designing this project. I felt हमने जब ग्राफिक नॉवेल्स किया था, we knew the art teachers were going to have a ball of a time. बट प्रेमचंद को जैसे ही नाम पे आया तो मेजोरिटी स्टोरीज तो प्रेमचंद की गरीबी पर लिखी हुई है. जहां पे गरीबी आएगी वहां पे आपका फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी आएगा ही आएगा. तो एक रिक्वेस्ट है टीचर से, कोऑर्डिनेटर से, ग्रेड 1 to 5 में से, ऑलरेडी एग्जिस्टिंग बुक में से देखो कि कहाँ पे कौन सा चैप्टर है जिसको हल्का सा ट्वीट करके आप फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी को ला सकते हो. We don't need to create new things on purpose. We can tweet. What about certain poems that you can tweet? And then you can get such beautiful products out of that. जहां तक हम बात करते हैं एग्जीबिशन या फेस्टिवल की, ऑफ कोर्स इट कम्स अप बेटर विद द कल्चरल प्रोग्राम. सो वी हैव इन सिटीज वेयर वी आर आस्किंग टीचर्स, schools not to have competitions but to have presentations on financial literacy, songs, dances, skits. In Delhi, when I went, I saw the Delhi Gurgaon program. I was so impressed with all the Dasana Goi programs there. We can have graphic novels, we can have installations. And why I'm saying we can avoid competition, because when we have competition, people only want to win. They do not experiment. पर जब वो कॉम्पिटिशन नहीं होगा तो अच्छा करने के लिए एक्सपेरिमेंट मोड में आ सकते हैं. So that is what a festival consists of. We have cultural programs, and at the same time, you got a lot of exhibit material. तो जो भी आपने ये ग्रेड 1 to 8 में रिसर्च किया होगा, कुछ कहानियां बनाई होगी, इस सब का बहुत अच्छा आपका एक्सपेरिमेंट का एग्जीबिशन आ सकता है, which later on at the end of the year can be compiled into small manuals for a particular school or particular classes. There can be a lot of interesting things which you can do in the school. Like last year, for experiment with monuments, we have good number of schools coming up with little handbooks on what they learned in monuments. So that same thing can happen for financial literacy also. Even the topics that you have seen earlier on the screen which I shared to you, they're very good topics to show as your topics for class assemblies, soft board issues. एक इसमें मिसिंग है मुझे अभी दिख नहीं रहा, which I'll send to you for sure, is the topics given by CA Institute, courtesy Dr. Garewal, who has given us a lot of activities which we will be sharing there with you. जो चीज हमारे पास में सॉफ्ट कॉपी बांटने के लिए प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, there is no copyright issue. We will definitely share it with you online. जैसे ये सी इंस्टीट्यूट का काम है, ये एनआईएसएम का काम है. शुरू में मैंने आपको 1 to 5 का जो मटेरियल दिखाया था, मोरलेस हमने सपना मैम अग्रवाल से हेल्प लिया हुआ है, बट ऑफ कोर्स दैट इज अ कॉपीराइट इशू विथ हर, सो आई विल नॉट बी एबल टू शेयर द सॉफ्ट मटेरियल टू यू. बट जहां तक पॉसिबल है हम आपको शेयर करेंगे जो भी मटेरियल हमारे पास में अवेलेबल होगा. सो वंस अगेन, you teachers decide the syllabus, you decide the grades, you decide the topic. और आप मुझे देखोगे एनआईएसएम की बुक्स के अंदर, देयर इज अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ आवर्स फ्रॉम आरएन पोदार, तनिषा पुरी, शी रिटन पोएम्स. एवरी बुक हैज अ पोएम. टू कन्वर्ट दैट पोएम इनटू सॉन्ग आई थिंक इज वेरी वेरी कंफर्टेबल. तो अभी जिससे पहले भी हमने आपको रैप सॉन्ग सिखाया, ये इसलिए बता रहे थे कि यू कैन डू सो मच इन दैट. सो डोंट ट्राई टू गेट वेरी conditioned by old techniques. Let the children have fun. और जैसे हमने जयपुर में प्रपोज किया है कि वी कैन हैव दिस इंटर स्कूल इवेंट्स, तो वी टोल्ड स्कूल्स, देयर आर अराउंड 35 schools taking part in Jaipur. Everyone need not take part in everything. You be comfortable. As a school, you decide कि skit program कुछ topics 11th standard को दे देंगे. जहां तक song and dance की बात है, वो तो song department, music department, dance department तय करता है कि कौन से बच्चों को use करना है. So it's all doable. And of course, we are going to add on many, many sessions with you wherein people will come and handhold you. So here is Rooftop coming up with 7 forms of folk art. तो जब सब पूछते हैं कि folk art में कैसे काम होगा, तो जो कुछ आपने कंटेंट बनाया है, let's try to bring it to folk art. Because I was sitting in one of the schools and that principal told me with Bhavan's Jaipur, she says, Sandeep, Gond art is all related to nature. So it immediately felt that supposing you're doing a story of the ant and the grasshopper, that can be presented through Gond. So you've got Varli, Matani Pachedi, Phar, Cherial, Bhil, Gond, Pichwai. Anyone who's interested in engaging them, I will be doing the link up factor, but I'm sure your teachers also know a lot of folk art which they can use, but if they want to learn something more, so they can get there. So here you've got financial literacy through Indian art, which is coming up from Panchtantra, characters and motives can come up from these art forms. It can be very, very, very enriching. Wali men, women doing activities. So, sir, you got the whole thing of Wali painting on consumerism by Sri Sadashiv Mahase that was done much earlier. And then, of course, for those who've done FUD with us earlier, you've done all subjects. So imagine you can do so much in the form of money. And while we are doing this, we're also telling schools, that ask your bankers to help you out. Do some paintings or things for them. They would love to support you financially also to do this particular activity. And this is FUD, which is already popular in CBSE schools right now. And of course, that you have got Gond art, which has got to do with a lot of animal and birds and nature element. Then Pichwai is there, of course, which comes up very strongly with Lord Krishna, but one can think of making something in that on that level. And Cherial is also there. So you can have the stories engaging in that form, something like FUD only. And Matani Pacheri is also there, where again you can involve certain concepts in it. This is all fun element for you to explore and to work with. So what we are visualizing for the next year is, again, we'll be having festivals. Varanasi, Jaipur, Mumbai, Delhi, Gurgaon. Delhi will be having more because it will be broken up into Delhi, Gurgaon, Ghaziabad, Noida, and Delhi. We may still have an extra one. So this all will happen once you start actually wanting to do things. And be rest assured, we will be there with you at every nook and corner. The activity books which I've assured you, NISM, I will be able to send the soft copies to you. But the C Institute, I'm just getting it digitalized and the whole book can come to you thanks to Dr. Garewal. And NCRT books, you already have them. Grade 1 and 2, you check it up. The money chapter is already there in the maths books. And then we will come along with you for online sessions. So we did some graphic novels with NCRT, of course, they were hand-painted ones. But we've also done a lot of AI work for road safety organizations and things like that. So we will be having those people on board with us online, not only teaching the teachers, but teaching the students also. So we'll be having a session very soon where we'll have your computer teachers first being exposed to the AI world. Of course, they must be knowing a lot of things more than what I can talk about. And then we'll ask the teachers for the next session that they can put forward the children and we can teach AI to them there. Arch Academy will be involving us with installations in whichever cities they are available. They'll help us out to set up installations in our school. As I mentioned, Uma ma'am will be with us for Panchtantra, and many more people will join us for story sessions. As an end, we are going up the ladder, and every day we learn something more to come along there. Please get your school hub schools involved with you. If you have any networking with the government, get them involved with you. If you have anything to do with the cultural department of the city, get them. And I forgot to write the word here, banks. Please get your banks with us, with you. You'll really find it very interesting to what level they can support your inter-school events, your particular, if you want to make a fund for them, they would love to take it up from you and put it in the bank. So be rest assured, we are available with you 24/7 for any sort of creative help that you require. Now, before I show you the last slide of thank you, can I start having questions? So I've got people in my office here who will help me out with that. And we can go into the questions coming up there. If there are any, please don't hesitate. And the other formality is, please you can write down my mobile number. Those who have come in through other accesses and don't have it, my mobile number is 961012531. I'm repeating that, 961012531. I am Sandeep Sethi from Jaipur City Palace, and we've been working with schools since a very, very long time. And I don't think people will not tell us that, yes, we do deliver what we say. So that goodwill is there. That is why so many teachers are present here for this meeting today. And you can talk individually, you can talk through your principal. Of course, there's a group created, Jaipur History Festival uh, 24 for financial literacy. The moment the principal says that, yes, we are on board, only principals are in that group right now. The moment the principal tells me, yes, we would want to be a part of this project, I will be making the principal the administrator, and the principal can then nominate any number of members to be a part of this project. So that is a system that first it's a principal who comes on the group, and then we make the principal administrator, and they can put you on. That is how we've been working all these years. So any questions coming up, Aditya? No questions, always a very dangerous thing, but I believe that you have anything to comment or anything there, if you can put it up there, we will revert to you immediately right now. Anyone raising a hand? So I'll be waiting for feedback through your principals. I'll be giving you all the this presentation I'll share with you, the CA thing I'll share with you. There, yes, any question? Someone raise the hand, please check out. Give me just a minute, I'll set it up. Give us a minute, we're just setting it up. Don't worry, we are there. And as I was mentioning to you, all the principal has to do is to tell us that we would like to do it and have as many queries as possible. I will definitely be sending to you the once the principal says yes, the NISM soft copies, the C Institute soft copies, the presentation of this slide. So I can see some hand going up there. I can only see thumbs up. So can you put up a hand once again? Even not necessarily asking some questions. And whatever. So if they have to ask, they can say these names. Okay, so there's Nisha Mishra. Can you give us a question, please? This is the list of people who are asking questions. So Nisha Mishra, Yashika, Kokila, Devjani, Sarbajit, Kiran, R. Madhushri. I'm just waiting. We are just testing it out here. How we can How can they ask?
They can mention it in their.
Okay, so please mention it. There's someone to read out your question for me. Please do that. There are around 60 people who have raised their hand, 63, but I still have to hear. I do not know what the problem is coming up from my side here to get your question across. Can you type a question? Is that possible? So can you give them the voice? Any question coming up to you? Give it to me. So getting this first question here, what are some strategies for teaching children about the concept of interest and how it affects saving and borrowing? Excellent, ma'am. When we'll have a math session with you, we will be doing this with you. And so, like how I said, that we'll have some resource people for mathematics, some for history, some for language, English, some for stories Hindi. So this question is very important for us. We will be bringing it forth in our mathematics session. So please don't hesitate. And whichever school you're Raki from, you can also send this message to your principal. And once if the principal agrees and comes on board, we'll get you also registered with us. So these questions can be collected in advance before we have the mathematics sessions. Can I have some other questions coming up? Yeah.
In this program about integrating art with other subjects in interesting ways.
Yes, first of all, see, we've been doing integrating of art in other subjects since a long time. Like last time we did monuments. So monuments was physics, chemistry, maths, biology, all subjects were coming up there. So this is also a process of doing that. If we did graphic novels, that was also a process. So even in financial literacy, we will be making graphic novels with you once you select the topic. Once you develop some content on that, you take help from us to develop the content. First of all, we want to know whether you're with us or not. That is the most important thing. Once we know that you're with us, you want it, then there's nothing holding us back. Any other questions?
Which strategies can be used?
ये हो गया ना maths वाला.
Can be used to including financial literacy.
Fine. So regarding EVS, when you come up, take one-to-one session with us, come up with the book of the course that you're using in EVS. We'll adapt it in that. So not to worry. This is how we'll be doing it. So all schools will be using different books, but then this is how when you sit with us one-to-one, we have a one-to-one session with the school, those who are interested, and we try to evolve it there, right? So that it's not an additional thing happen there. For Neetu Bedu, if you could give some examples of financial literacy activities for primary students, ma'am, plenty of them. Say, let's take barter system, for example. A lot of schools tell me that we do a dealing in money exchange in the school. They can be having some buying, selling, actually buying and selling, or you want to do trading in fake forms, that can happen there, where they do calculations of what is being spent, what is being saved. And somewhere or the other, we can have a concept coming up that, well, we don't talk about savings after expenses. All those who are involved in mutual funds and recurring accounts, you all know that the money disappears from your savings first. It is not the leftover money that you invest. So we earn, we save, and then we spend the leftover amount. So these concepts can be built up, and we can definitely do them EVS and activities like that. Once your principal tells us we are with you, we'll be taking sessions separately for them. So today was an orientation program where we want to tell you what we can do. If I do history festival, how can I relate with financial literacy? Rekha ma'am, which city are you from? Can you tell me quickly? So you don't have to worry. History festival is a term which you're using it for the festival. So that Jaipur History Festival is a brand now. So whether it's in Gurgaon, whether it's anywhere, some people want to call it heritage. So financial literacy will be a part of that festival this year. Next year we'll have some other theme. The other year we'll have some other theme. So financial literacy will be a part of the history festival this year. The theme for the history festival is financial literacy for 2024.
Students from science can be part of this program.
Students of any class, whichever grade, can be a part of this, from grade pre-primary to grade 12. It's all up to the school and the teachers what they want to do. So what I'm seeing is I've not sent you the 11th and 12th standard CA course, which I'm going to send that to you. It's not there in the presentation. It somehow got missed up. But the moment your principal says, yes, we are on board, I'll be with you also. Yeah.
So, is it necessary to teach concept of money at the early childhood?
Ma'am, the concept of whose name is Divya. Divya Gupta, you have to take a decision where you want to teach. We are not imposing anything. We are not even imposing for you to take this program. The decision is yours. What do you think? When is the time that the child should be introduced to money? Don't look at only from the school point of view. Look at your biological families also. You may be having children at home. Find out when is the money, when should the money be introduced to them? And the concept is purely yours. We will not influence you. We will not be judgmental. We will not be biased. It's your decision and your school to decide.
How can we introduce this to students for them to think about it?
Yeah, so once you tell us that you're interested, the principal tells us, we'll start having more sessions with you all, and then we can tell you how to do it in schools. In fact, we're going to make you think. No, there are no charges. We are, everything which comes off here, only rooftop if you get involved this time. Last time, so they had done absolutely free for us. But only that folk art, if you want to be trained by, that could be chargeable. Rest, everything that the City Palace does is no finances involved. So don't worry.
Would it be like a graphic novel integrating subjects?
Give me the question, man. So I have this question coming up here now from uh, Chef Ali Bhatt. So fine. Yes, once you come up on board and were working with us, we will develop a graphic novel for you. So not to worry. Chef Ali from DPS Gurgaon, you have done so many graphic novels with us already. So there's nothing new for you. But yes, we can do a lot in whatever you want us to do.
How do you differentiate maths with financial literacy? Neeru Kapoor, ma'am.
Neeru Kapoor, ma'am, I don't need to necessarily differentiate maths with financial literacy. Means financial literacy can be in anywhere. So I don't want to differentiate it. Well, if I'm talking about simple interest, it comes in maths. If it doesn't come in maths, it's perfectly fine. So when I'm talking about barter, I mean, I'm not getting stuck on with the subject. So I'm trying to see how it can be integrated in all the subjects so that there's no additional burden on teachers to teach that. So when you're doing simple interest, add a little more. When you're doing barter, add a little more. So that is why I was very keen for the coordinators to attend this session because they would be the ones to understand किस class में क्या हो रहा है, कहाँ से क्या tweet करेंगे. This is how we can help you to do that. And you'll be very happy to know all the topics that we've given to you in this presentation are excellent topics for your class assemblies and software.
The students have to visit Jaipur.
No, the students don't have to visit Jaipur. Which city you're in, you can have a festival. That city, being a part of the festival is your choice. You can do it in school. Like last time, so many schools did monuments and they didn't show the presentation anywhere. But we shared so much with them. So for me also, the end product is not very, very important. It is a process which is important. So a lot of times we have schools who will tell us something we will not take part in the festival, but we want to be a part of the entire training. We enjoy that because we feel that the at least teachers have taken one step forward. The management has agreed to train the teachers. That is more important to understand a pedagogy, understand a process, rather than to see the product finally. So this question is coming up from Seema Rastogi. How can we get connected with Hindi language, please? Uh, if your school has Hindi, there's nothing to worry. So you're looking at all your Hindi stories which are there from grade 1 to 5. Let's start reading them and find out where financial literacy can come in. And the Hindi teachers are very good at that. I know that. So here's this question coming up from Kokila Man. How financial is a part of English language? I think I've discussed with you, any story which you make in English will be a part of English language. And when I mentioned to you about Bernard Shaw, when I mentioned to you about Shakespeare, we pick up references from here. And which stories are being used in your school, we pick up from there. And what about all the Panchtantra, Jataka tales, and so many books that we have? Any folk story would be great. We are having some people going to come on board who are very good storytellers and have done folk tales. So I had talked with Mr. Barrett this morning, Ratnu family. They said they will be working with us. So I'm only waiting for your principal to say yes, then I start off my work. Any more questions?
Start at a particular class or across the
No, it is up to you. Which class do you want to start off is entirely up to the school. It is their vision where they want to take it from. Like I said, you don't want to do it, it's perfectly fine. I want to do it only in fourth, fifth, sixth, it's perfectly fine. It's up to you. So these are all suggestive topics given to you, and you take a call what you want to do, how much you want to put on your plate. So when you saw the sixth standard workbook, we have taken 10 topics. So like I was talking to one of the principals, you may be having 4 sections in grade one. You can pick up two small topics for each class separately. 8 topics are covered there. And it will come up so beautifully when they exchange the material that way.
So, we
Sangeeta ma'am, we will have sessions for training teachers and students also. Everything will be there after your principal. So when principal says yes, and we will never take a session with students without taking a session of that first with the teachers. The teachers will select the students to do that. So we will not be jumping any hierarchy. So don't worry about that at all. We will be doing it. Installations are something like, ma'am, you enter a school and you see a beautiful building. Sorry, not a building, sorry. You see a beautiful tree, an artificial tree made perhaps. आप कहीं पे जाते हो तो कुछ एक फिक्सचर बना होता है, कुछ बॉटल्स लटकी हुई हैं, कुछ लैम्प शेड लटके हुए हैं, कुछ रीयूज मटेरियल बना हुआ है, कुछ टायर लटके हुए हैं. So we have these design schools who are going to work with us, and we will try to bring up themes on financial literacy in that. That's a challenge, but that's how we'll be working.
Introduce the concept of need of children, they might get greedy.
So making people understand the concept of money of interest, well, they become greedy for what? Greedy to save money? That's interesting. Greedy to spend. अगर वो बचाएंगे नहीं तो फिर मतलब इंटरेस्ट तो तभी मिलेगा ना जब वो खर्च नहीं करेंगे. तो सेविंग्स के लिए आपने उनको मोटिवेट कर दिया. So a lot of us, if you look at your friend circle around us, you'll find a lot of people are very particular about savings. So they started at the right time. Sangeeta ma'am, we will have sessions for training teachers or students also
Yes,
for
sir.
both. I think I already answered that question.
Vibha ma'am has asked, should this not be dealt by parents?
Fine, विभा मैम, पेरेंट्स क्यों नहीं? वैसे देखा जाए तो हर चीज पेरेंट्स कर सकता है ना. पढ़ाना भी तो पेरेंट कर सकता है. तो अगर आपको लगता है कि स्कूल का काम नहीं है, पेरेंट्स का काम है, मत करो. डोंट वरी एट ऑल. एनसीईआरटी ने भी क्लास 1 में मनी चैप्टर लेकर आया है. एनईपी को फॉलो करो. Find out what the government is wanting. But at the same time, working with us, you have a right to choose whether you want to do it or not. कोई compulsion नहीं है. Not to worry at all. Certificates for providing, काम कर लो Parul ma'am. Do some work. Definitely you'll be rewarded some way or the other. So keep that in mind. We can work it out. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. The school, in fact, the school can certify something to the teachers and students themselves. So we can even work upon that first.
Will there be a
Sonia ma'am, sir, do we need a definite
curriculum?
curriculum? No, you will decide the curriculum. आप डिसाइड करोगे जो टॉपिक्स आपके पास में, जो हम सजेस्टिव टॉपिक्स दे रहे हैं. अब उसके अलावा और भी आपको कुछ जोड़ना है, वो बड़े शौक से आप जोड़ सकते हो. नॉट टू वरी एट ऑल.
Financial literacy through music.
हाउ कैन यस, थ्रू म्यूजिक, गाना बजा के. पोएम पहले लिखेंगे, पोएम के बाद में उसको म्यूजिक में पिरोएंगे, गाना गाएंगे, सीखेंगे उसके बारे में. दैट इज हाउ क्रिएटिविटी विल कम अप. आर्ट फॉर्म में कैसे आएगा? पोस्टर्स बनाएंगे, टॉपिक्स बनाएंगे, कॉमिक स्ट्रिप्स बनाएंगे, कहानियां लिखेंगे, स्किट करेंगे. ये सब कुछ हमारा एक फॉर्म होगा चीज को करने के लिए. तो यू कैन यूज म्यूजिक फॉर टीचिंग पर्पसेस ऑल्सो.
Financial literacy through computer.
क्वेश्चन आशीष कुमार सर, इस फाइनेंशियल लिटरेसी थ्रू कंप्यूटर. सर जैसे हमने जिक्र किया एआई का, कहानी बनेगी, एआई को हम यूज करेंगे, कॉमिक स्ट्रिप बनाएंगे, आ गया कंप्यूटर उसके अंदर. सो कंप्यूटर स्किल्स विल बी यूज्ड टू डेवलप दैट. For anything that you need to contact, Love Maheshwari is with me. You come through someone in this group, right? तो इस ग्रुप को कहिए आप किसी भी माध्यम से आए हो. And otherwise I've shared my number. You have to only let me know. But definitely I need to have the principal on board first. I cannot work with a teacher without the principal coming on board. So I'm giving my number once again, 96101 25311. Any more questions? Yes.
Is there any manual available for class first and second?
मैनुअल हम बनाएंगे ना सर. गैलेक्सी जो भी ये बोल रहे हैं, वी आर गोइंग टू डेवलप अ मैनुअल. बाकी मार्केट के अंदर बहुत किताबें अवेलेबल हैं. आप पब्लिशर्स के पास जाएंगे, डॉक्टर सपना की इन किताब की बात करें, मैनुअल्स आर देयर. बट हियर द पॉइंट इज वी वुड लाइक टू हैव द ओनरशिप ऑफ योर्स इनटू इट एंड यू क्रिएट समथिंग. वरना किताबें मार्केट में बहुत हैं, टेक्स्ट बुक्स भी अवेलेबल है. यू कैन पिक देम अप, नॉट टू वरी. So
big presentation.
Anyway, anything more, I just want to wait for your principal to say, yes, we are on board. And that's the time I will be asking the principal to become the administrator and put you all on board. And I'll definitely be sharing all the material that I have with you. Yeah. Sarita Katiyar ma'am, remember playing business? Yes, of course. I forgot to mention that we are going to have a pedagogical program also met. Peda games, जो हमारी exhibition होगी, exhibition में peda games भी होंगे. और पैदा गेम्स का भी सेशन हम आपके साथ में लेंगे और एक और बात है अगर अभी सब कुछ सेशन लेने के बावजूद आप एग्जीबिशन में पार्ट नहीं लेना चाहते हो वी हैव नो रिग्रेट्स एटलीस्ट यू लर्नड एंड टेकन अ स्टेप फॉरवर्ड दैट इज व्हाट वी आर वेरी हैप्पी अबाउट तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आपको ये करना ही पड़ेगा कोई रूल्स नहीं है मुखर्जी मैम बेसिकली इट इज सिलेक्शन ऑफ टॉपिक्स आई थिंक आई अंडरस्टैंड a selection of topics per class and then through various art form. Yes, and you will decide what topic for this class. We can only be suggestive, right? तो जैसे मैंने कहा बार्टर सिस्टम कैन बी फ्रॉम क्लास 1 to 12 पर एनसीईआरटी तो कहते हैं क्लास 7 के लिए है so we just got 2 minutes more to wind up
Phone number, please tell them.
phone number once again 96101 96101 25311
They will be getting a recording of the session there.
The recording session will be sent to the principal. The presentation, the PPT will be sent to the principal. हमारे से जो कमी रह गई है वो पूरी करके आपको भेजेंगे.
Nationalism in India class 10. They want you to tell an example for SST.
Nationalism in India class 10. Fine, let's go through the chapter and find out what can we put up there. I remember that when I was in CBSE, yes, money can come up there in various forms.
They're asking you to elaborate to be the nationalism elaborate.
किस चीज का elaboration
For the
चाहिए?
exhibition. About
Exhibition will be city-wise. If there are more than 10 schools in a particular city, we can do the exhibition, get the principals on board first. ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है, like we have traveled Bombay, Delhi, Gurgaon, Jaipur and Varanasi for the exhibitions. तो अगर आपका ये शहर ये नहीं है, कोई दूसरा शहर है, पूना है, कुछ भी है, तो we'll just try to get more schools there because exhibition फिर exhibition level पे आना चाहिए. It cannot be just one school product. It should be little elaborate. So we can work that out once you're interested. You can get in touch with your principals and get in touch with the Saudiyas to do work. We can even take sessions with the Saudiyas, don't worry. It is non-competitive, please remember that. It is only participation, not competitive. Can you share the topics of math? Anuj sir, आप बिल्कुल principal को बोलो on board आओ, मेरा तो एक ही सवाल है. We'll have a separate session on mathematics, not to worry. तो हमने तो आपको बहुत कम दिखाया यहाँ पे simple interest, fractions, जो भी है. But of course, come on board, we'll work together. So we're going to have separate sessions in each subject that way. Will you define sessions for us? Or we have to do it. आप अपनी requirement देते जाओगे बहुत जल्दी after your principals confirms, then all I need to do is to share the timetable with you. इस time हम ये कर रहे हैं, इस time पे हम ये करेंगे, इस time पे हम ये करेंगे. That's what we'll share it. Once the principals come on board and they gave us the requirements, your requirements should come through your principal, and then our work begins. So we began at sharp 5, and what's the time right now? 5:50. So I expected a 1 hour session, 30 minutes presentation, 20 minutes question answers. Very good. Anything is still left, you can cope up with that.
Can we have this PPT?
Of course, Dr. Menas, we will share this PPT with you in the group. Just write down the name of the school. I'll send this PPT straight away. Ruchi Khanna, once confirmed, will we have separate sessions per subject? Yes, let your principals come on board. We will have separate session for math, separate session for language, some Panchtantra stories. We have identified people who will be talking to you about that. तो आपके लिए भी आसान हो जाएगा किस टीचर को उनके सेशन में बैठाना है. That be easy for you. Exhibition dates are not confirmed. Jaipur की confirmed है, and I think गाजियाबाद की आने वाली confirmation वाराणसी की confirm हुई है. बाकी तो सब अपने अपना बताएंगे because we've got a big calendar. I don't want to go rush to 2 cities at the same time. पर अगर जरूरत पड़ेगी हम वैसा भी करेंगे. Don't worry. So we have to look at a lot of things from the exhibition point of view. The schools का convenience, weather का convenience, बहुत कुछ हमको evaluate करना है. So once you're on board, we can talk one-to-one.
Please quote examples of SST.
SST, अब कौन आप हिस्ट्री आ जाइए ना, हिस्ट्री में तो पूरा आपका आएगा मैम। ये जो आपने अगर जो सिलेबस देखा है 6 to 10 का, उसमें जो भी हिस्ट्री ज्योग्राफी का लिखा होगा पूरा आपको भी मिल जाएगा। जस्ट आस्क द प्रिंसिपल टू से इंटरेस्टेड, आई विल सेंड द पीपीटी टू यू। So I'm sure we'll be having more sessions. This is not the first and the last one, so don't worry. It is just the first. It's a beginning, and thank you for all being there. And we keep on continuing the program here. Exactly at 6, I will wind up because I've got time only till 6 o'clock. Kitna time reh gaya? Fine. So thank you, teachers. Thank you, principals. Thank you for all the people who are there. I know it's not been easy for you to attend the session, but let me tell you one thing. It's not been easy for me to prepare the session also. It's been quite a challenge, but I think we've done well. And the strength that I've seen is around 1,600 participants. Well, excellent. And thank you all the people who have helped us out to spread this message and get the teachers to come and share thoughts here, right? Thank you, and we look forward to work with all the schools who are present here. Thank you so much, and bye. From City Palace, Jaipur, by Raja Savai Man Singh to Museum Trust. Thank you.